Welcome to Alley Picked. Last week, I made this.
Whoa.
It's a leaded stained glass panel. I've never made one this big before. In fact, this is only the second time that I've used this method at all. You want to see the first? This is the first leaded stained glass panel I ever made. I made it in a class I took about 12 years ago. But today, I need to seal this panel and make it airtight. In order to do that, I'm going to be applying this cement putty. But before I do, let me explain to you the basic process of what I'm going to be doing. Here's an exploded view of the lead and glass. The glass fits into the lead channel, but it's a loose fit. There's a gap all the way around between the lead and the glass. This gap needs to be filled, which is where the cement putty comes in and gets pressed between all the joints. It then hardens and gives your window a solid, airtight fit. To seal the glass, I'm using this store-bought cement putty. You can mix your own, but since this is my first time, I figured it made more sense. The contents have separated. There's linseed oil on the top of the putty, and the bottom has somewhat solidified, sort of like peanut butter when it sits on the store shelf for too long. I dump the oil into a separate container and remove the hard putty. At first, I added all of the hard putty into the oil, but it seemed like way too much oil, so I poured some off. I ended up using about only half of the oil. It gets softer and a little thicker than peanut butter consistency within several minutes. Once I have the putty in a smooth consistency, I begin pressing it into all of the joints by hand. I've seen other videos say to use a short bristle brush. I was going to do that, but I was afraid I might run out of putty by the end because some of the putty would get trapped in the bristles. Once all the lead is filled, I begin removing as much of the cement putty as possible with my hands. Then I grab this lathekin. It's used for various stained glass making techniques, but in this case the pointed tip works great for cleaning out the grooves. Once I've removed as much of the putty on the glass as possible, this next step is critical. I'm sprinkling this white chalky powder known as whiting. It soaks up some of the oil in the putty and helps to set the cement. As I brush the glass, the whiting powder turns gray as it absorbs and mixes with the putty. This then can be vacuumed or swept up. You might have to do this step 2 or 3 times until you're satisfied. At this point, I could let it dry for about 48 hours and then putty the second side. But I don't have quite that much time, so I'm going to putty the back side now. This is fine, but you just have to be sure to check the first side when you're finished to be sure that the putty didn't start oozing out. If it is, simply scrape it off using the lathekin. It's 2 days later. I'm going to give it one more dust bath, and then this panel is in the books. Man, this leaded stained glass panel turned out even better than I expected, and the other side is just as good. This project is proof positive that effort overcomes ignorance. I've never made anything this large before or this good. And I did learn a lot along the way. Some of my methods may not have been by the book, but they worked out great. Now, I've just got to figure out a way to tell the customer that I'm going to keep it. Well, thanks for watching Alley Picked. I do hope you're going to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up because it does help the YouTube algorithms steer people to my channel. Until next time, I'll meet you in the alley. Now, where can I hide this?